So my name's Liz York, and I'm at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention as a Senior Advisor for Buildings and Facilities. Groups like CIDCI are important because they help the whole industry move towards things that they may not do if they weren't challenged to be innovative. This is a great organization that brings leaders together to talk about ways that we can do things differently. And sometimes the only way to get those things to happen is for competitors to level set with each other and challenge each other to do more.
Diversity feeds innovation. If we don't have a diverse team, you're not going to be as innovative, you're not going to be as successful. And the research really shows this, that diverse teams are more productive, diverse teams are smarter, diverse organizations make more profit. So across any sort of measure, diversity helps you to perform better. The other thing that's really critical is without a more diverse organization, we're going to be missing out on a lot of critical talent that we need to address the future challenges.
I think the biggest reason innovation is important these days is because technology is changing the world we live in so quickly. So we need to be paying attention to what kind of world do we actually want to design? Okay. How do we take into consideration the people who are going to live and work in that world? And how do we bring that consideration together with the technology? And that's, to me, what's at the heart of innovation, is redesigning those big systems in order to make people happy and use technology to its best advantage.
What makes a great building, there's two things that embody that for me. One is collaboration, and then the second one is innovation. So the collaboration aspect of it, as anybody who's built a big building knows, you just require people to come together, solve problems on the ground, and actually get that building up and into its final stage. I think but collaboration goes beyond that as well. It's also collaborating with the owner, with the users that will use that building to understand really what's the function of that building for, and how does what we build now impact the use of the building post-construction. I think innovation is important. There's so much innovation coming across in the built environment today that always seeking new ways of building that building, whether or not that is about building a net zero building, whether or not that's making it sustainable, whether or not there's new techniques, reducing the capital cost. Innovation is extremely important.
Because without a more diverse organization, we're going to be missing out on a lot of critical talent that we need to address the future challenges. So we're all looking at labor shortages. So how do we get more people into our industry to address the looming labor shortage? The last thing is that it's not just important to have diversity, we also have to have equity and inclusion. And when I get to inclusion, I really mean like a sense of belonging. So we really have to change our cultures to make sure everyone feels welcome and can thrive in the workplace.
So the Innovation Lab is really about trying to teach people different ways of thinking and approaching how you frame and solve a problem. So if I think about companies like Uber, when it started, it thought very big about how do we change the transportation industry in a way that makes better use of the resources that we have. So the Innovation Lab aims to get people to shift their thinking to be more human-centered, so who are the people at the heart of what we're doing, and systems-oriented, so thinking about the bigger system, as opposed to the more linear, analytical, rational way that we tend to think through putting products into the world.
Good business for me is, I think of it in horizons. Good business is about executing well on what you do well today, right? So that your business works, you're not taking on undue risk, you're delivering a great product, you're delivering a great service. But it is also about being much more strategic, seeing where the future lies, and then taking calculated bets that will actually deliver value so that you're always future-proofing. And you're never in the risk of only executing well today, but then hitting a dead end because you didn't see what was coming down the line.
A great building can make a difference in an individual's life. For example, I think about a cancer center. I'm a cancer survivor, and one of the things that I appreciate about the clinic where I received my chemotherapy is that it was like a family. People were able to talk, People might have been afraid, but they were able to see others that had gone through the same experience and could lean on each other. I think that center created a community that helped not only those patients that were in the clinic, but also their entire network of family and friends and the places that they worked and lived. And I would say that buildings can transcend just the people that are in the building by how they touch the people that are a part of the building or the people that walk by every day.
But the stories that I actually prefer are stories that talk about innovation as an ecosystem. And that's the story that's less often told. And so what I mean by that is that I think innovation happens when you have an environment and an infrastructure for innovation. You have lots of people trying to solve the same problems, and then somewhere an idea will spark that will actually work. And then we tell that story of that one spark, but then we forget the story of the ecosystem that was built around that to enable that spark. And those are the types of stories I like.